tip for the ladies. Instead of saying all men, say no men. What I mean by that is instead of saying all men or men behave in this negative way, instead say no men behave in this positive way.
Shut up, silly woman!
To be honest, I shouldn't really continue with this video. But I'm gonna, because I need content, and I'm gonna do this out of morbid curiosity alone. Because after her saying that, there's not really much else that she can say that's gonna make any sense thereafter. No men behave in a positive way. Come on.
For example, instead of saying, men constantly objectify women, because you're gonna, of course, be met with the defensive immediately as soon as you say that.
Yeah, some men do objectify women, but the majority of us do not. But you don't care about that.
Instead, say, no men really come to women's defense when other men start objectifying them.
Bullshit.
Shut up! You'll find out real quick, men don't really like that much. Because here's the thing, it places the burden of proof on them to prove that they're a good person and to prove that they're actually behaving in a manner that is appropriate when confronted with misogyny.
Incorrect. Men like me don't have to prove shit to people like you. And what good would you do anyway? You're already very prejudiced, as is very evident in your video. It's just blatantly obvious that you've been burnt by a few men, and you're still very angry and still very bitter about it.
And unfortunately, a lot of them are not behaving in a way that is appropriate when confronted with misogyny.
I question what you call inappropriate behavior, and I question what you call misogyny.
So start saying that, because the results are enlightening.
I very much doubt it. If men like me know that they're a good person by default, then they wouldn't even react to whatever kind of bullshit you want to lay out. Are there some bad men out there? Of course there are. I just hope that one day when all your anger and bitterness dissipates, that you're not kind of too old to find someone who would love you. Someone who still has their youth, shouldn't be so angry all the time.
The fastest way that I block men and I test men,
this ought to be interesting.
is I tell them I'm at the nail salon.
Mm-hmm.
And if they ask me what color I'm getting, cool, if they don't say how much is it, or what's your Cash App, or what's your Zelle, so I can cover the cost, you're blocked.
Thank you very much. Allow me to breathe a sigh of relief.
Because at that point, you're a taker.
Pretty sure you're the taker.
And men like that, they love to say, okay, text me a picture of your nails when you get it done. Sorry, Bookie, you're already added to the block list by saying that. You, as a man, are supposed to be a provider, meaning that you provide.
Provider of nails?
Why are you asking me to send me a picture of the nails then? If I don't pay for it, how am I going to send you a picture? Block those men.
Yes, please, greedy, soulless women with no scruples whatsoever. Please block all those men. Wouldn't be surprised if your head game was trash, too.
Men are punching women in the face. Men are constantly assaulting people and...
Yep, every single time I go outside, I've got to be aware of where I am and who might be around me. You can never be too careful.
This world that we live in, an unsafe, uncivilized place because of them. And I don't care if people say it's controversial.
Nah, it's not controversial at all. It's perfectly permissible to just assume that all men are a danger. I mean, in today's culturally societal zeitgeist.
Honestly, I think that we should restrict and monitor the movement of men.
Oh, really?
I feel like if you're a man and you want to leave your house, you should have to apply for a permit. You should have to state your business, where you're going, what time you're coming back, everything.
Do you think any bad men with ill intent would register with any local authorities? Do you think they would adhere to any kind of authoritative stipulations like the ones you mentioned? Do you think the bad men out there would cooperate?
Honestly, you can't exist in society. You guys just don't know how to. It's awful. It's awful for us to exist with you, just so you know.
I think it's pretty awful to exist with people like you. To just automatically assume that men aren't victims to other men's actions. There have been bad people since the inception of humankind. You being one of them. If you were really so righteous and true in your convictions, then you would ask any male members of your family to agree to such ridiculous measures. But something tells me that you wouldn't do that, would you? It's just far easier if you just say that you hate men.
Let me just tell you something. I don't know what the deal is with men now, but I had told him prior that I will be having pre and post date expenses, and is that okay? And are you going to cover them?
What? Fuck your pre-date expenses. Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't know if he wasn't listening or like what the deal was or whatever, but when I handed him the white envelope, he looked shocked.
You handed him a white envelope. Thank God I'm married.
And he opened it and it's receipts. Hello. Pre-post date expenses. Hello. Like, what kind of females do you be dating?
Ones that aren't hookers?
So I handed it to him and he literally looked shocked at me and said, I can't cover this. It was $478 for pre and post date expenses.
Wow, this lady is one hell of a delusional bullet that all guys everywhere need to dodge.
You asked me on a date, and mind you, we really didn't even have that good a conversation because he was on his phone the whole time, and I have a very strict no phone policy on dates. Hello, you're here to pay attention to me. Look at all the effort that I had to put into going on this date, and now you have a problem with pre and post date expenses?
That's not very polite, is it, to look at your phone the whole time whilst you're on a date? But frankly, maybe you just weren't that interesting. Your focus is clearly on whatever money he wants to spend on you. And whilst you think it might be very prudent and sensible to prepare your date for any expenses that might incur, it's borderline psychotic to just assume that he's going to fork out money to pay for whatever expenses that happened before the actual date took place. Are you nuts? Are all women like her now? Oh, fuck.
Can someone explain to me how there are grown-ass men in this world that are giving women the silent treatment?
I'm gonna sound like a sexist, misogynist pig with what I'm about to say, but sometimes when he just knows there's no getting through to her, when he very calmly, slowly, and meticulously explains whatever the situation might be, sometimes it's just far easier to just step back and just not say anything.
You know how many comments I see that are like, yeah, when I bring up my feelings, he just doesn't speak. When he's mad at me, he just shuts down. How does that how is a grown man acting that way? That's not a man, that's a boy.
No, that's just a guy who's sick and tired of trying to teach her wife or girlfriend how to put the square peg into the square hole, and she still isn't getting it. Married guys who have been married as long as I have will know what I'm talking about. But to everyone else, I guess I'm just coming across as very chauvinistic. But honestly, it's not it's not a sexist thing, really. Quite simply, it's just the fact that, you know, men's brains and women's brains are just wired differently. That's all it is.